Hey, this is Cody, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to set up an Nginx load balancer behind two HTTP servers. Before you can start this project, the assumption is that you have VirtualBox installed and you also have Vagrant installed. So I'm not going to walk you through how to do that. You can read the documentation. So I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into how you set this up and try to get it done in less than 5 minutes. So if you see on the left side of this structure, we have 3 folders. Each one represent a different server which will be needed for this project. First server is the load balancer, and when we open up we can see there's a Vagrant file. And this Vagrant file pretty much specifies very simplistic stuff such as the name of the virtual machine, the box we're going to be using, which is in Ubuntu 64. Here's a URL for that, and some memory, etc. But the most important thing is the IP of this box that we're going to specify. You see that it's ending with 100. That's our load balancer. If we open up server 1 and 2 and open up the Vagrant files, we can see that server 1 ends with 101 and server 2 ends with 102. So again, this is a very simplistic Vagrant file, and it's not too hard to understand. It's very straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to actually setting up these servers now. Since we have the 3 Vagrant servers defined, you can see here we have 3 terminals. One's on the load balancer and then server 1 and server 2, or other way around. So for each of these folders, we can simply run Vagrant up on all of them. Alright, so now all these virtual machines are up and running, and you see that they finished their printing out their logs. So the first thing we need to do is we can go into this load balancer. And let's just go ahead and go into all these actually, using Vagrant SSH. And you can see here that if we try to ping one of the other machines from the load balancer, we can access both of these machines. So this is load balancer trying to ping for server 1 and server 2. So the first thing we need to do is install Nginx. Oops. And then on these 2 machines, we need to install Node.js and npm. Okay, so now in the load balancer, Nginx is already done installing, right? So we can simply just go into the Nginx configuration. This is the default location of Nginx. Open it up, and make sure you open it with sudo because this is locked. We're going to go ahead and delete everything. And then in this file, we have in the load balancers folder, we have a resources file, which has the exact same configuration that we need. And if you were to just look at it, we see that it's setting up one server, which upstreams both to 101 and 102, which is our server 1 and server 2. This file is very simplistic. You can simply go look at the documentation if you want more information on this, but pretty much if we try to access this main server on the load balance, which is .100, it's going to forward to either 101 or 102. And that's pretty much all you need to know about that. So once you've changed that, you can simply restart Nginx if you want. So the last part, you're going to have to set up a symbolic link, assuming that you installed Node.js like I did on an Ubuntu server. So pretty much you just need to route Node to Node.js. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that into here as well. And the last part we need to do is we need to install a service called HTTP server, which is a very simplistic web server that is you can download with Node, or npm I guess. So let those 2 download. The server is done installing on both server 1 and server 2. To actually use it, we can go ahead and SSH into our shared Vagrant file, which has an index file. So we can sudo http server port 80. That'll start hosting a server at that location on port 80. I'll do the exact same thing on the other server. Okay, so now both of our web servers are running and they're hosting that index file. So what we can do to actually test to see if this is working, assuming that our load balancer is set up, which it should be, when we access server 1, the index file has A's for the content, and server 2, the index file has B's. So every time you request, it should alternate between server 1 and server 2 on the request. So just to see that, if you want, you can do a wget on let's see, 100, which is our load balancer, and you can see that it printed out on server 1 over here. Do it again, you see it printed out on server 2. Additionally, if you want to load up the index 1, you see it has a bunch of A's, and index the second one that we downloaded from server 2 has a bunch of Bs. Now, additionally to visualize this, if we wanted to, we could just keep hitting the Nginx load balancer. You see how it's alternating between server 1 and server 2. I probably should have named these 1 and 2 instead of A and B, but you get the picture. Or if I wanted to, I can just go directly to server 1, keep refreshing this page, and you see that I keep getting A's. And then, same with server 2, I keep getting B's. Now, to additionally show the load balancer is working, I have a file called other.temp.txt hosted in one of the servers, but not the other. So in every alternate request, you see that it's not returning anything. We can actually visualize this better here. If we do another wget on other and then temp.txt, you see how I received it the first time, and the second time it's throwing an error not found, right? So this kind of simulates or demonstrates, I guess I should say, the load balancer working, how it's doing a round-robin load balancing between server 1 and server 2. And it's pretty simplistic to set up, right? That took us like absolutely no time. So I'm going to update the README of the GitHub project and post a link to it. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Hopefully it helps out understand a little bit of something about setting up a load balancer with Nginx. Alright, thanks.